Do you think that Kurt Cobain was trans?
I think that's one of those things where it's like ahistorical to say, to ascribe that label on him.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what the like opposition to that claim thinks, but it's more common than you'd think amongst trans women in particular to sort of claim him.
I just think, like, why does it matter, you know?
I guess it matters because there are just some women who think that based on his, semi-routine cross-dressing, sometimes in very notable instances, and certain pieces of evidence extracted from his journals, that they think that he was displaying egg-like behavior and that maybe transitioning could have saved her.
I think it's a compelling argument, but I don't know. It feels a little weird to apply that to like a real dead person.
So you don't have historical figures that you think, oh yeah, they were definitely like transitioning would have saved them.
Maybe someone from like the 1400s, like Joan of Arc, where it's kind of like funny to think about it rather than like a little too soon, you know?
You think it's too soon with Kurt?
Yeah, he died in the 90s.
Yeah. I mean, he died 30 years ago.
Yeah, there are people today who are 30, believe it or not.
Really?
And some are trans too.
So the implication behind that is it's not cool to decide someone dead was trans until everyone alive at the same time as them has died.
I guess just because then it's not as serious.
So like a couple years ago when the like last like World War I
Yeah, like the last veteran
died.
died.
Yeah. So now
We
if
have to
I
wait
want to
for the
say
last trans.
if I want to say like Teddy Roosevelt was trans, I can do it.
Yeah, because that's funny.
But if I want to say JFK was trans, I can't do it because there's still people alive who were alive when JFK was alive.
I think we're broaching territory where that's okay to say because it's funnier than it is serious.
Okay. I definitely think that you're hitting a lot of the Kurt Cobain is trans opposition arguments, the kind of people who are not fans of the argument.
Like, I definitely see the evidence, and I'm not opposed to the idea of Kurt Cobain being trans. I just feel like, I mean, there were already, like, okay, I know, like, it was less accepted back then, so that's why he wouldn't have come out, but surely he knew what being transgender was.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think his famous like dress probably had its roots more safely in cross-dressing than gender nonconformity. I mean, he is friends with RuPaul, or was, I suppose.
Well, that's something I guess that's fair. Something I was also gonna say is like, yeah, I was gonna just say there are a lot of other celebrities who were really gender non-conforming, but didn't, people don't say they were trans. Like, I'm kind of out of my depth here because I don't really know that much about these musicians in question, but like, I don't know, David Bowie or something.
Yeah, I think it's just David Bowie lived into a point where being trans was so much more ubiquitous. And Kurt didn't. I don't think David Bowie was going to come out, in 2016 with liver cancer as, in his like 60s, but I don't I think the reason that the Kurt Cobain thing is so compelling is because yes, there are some things that sound like gender dysphoria in his journals. He was symbolically remembered as the voice of a generation, and in dying so young, he sort of robbed himself from the deterioration of aging in the public eye. He's forever young, in that sense and forever a symbol of youth culture. I think if he had lived, he probably wouldn't have been trans, and certainly probably wouldn't have been trans in his 50s, and probably would have said and done some shit in the decades since that caused his reputation to deteriorate and falter from what it once was. So I sort of agree with you that he probably wasn't trans, but it is idyllic to muse on the idea that the voice of a generation and an extremely influential pop figure to grunge and to Gen Xers experienced gender dysphoria.
Yeah, I think, like, I agree he would have... Like, I think if he was alive today, he would be a sorta no-labels guy, you know?
I can get that.
Because, like, was he even bisexual?
I don't know that he ever promptly said the words, I, Kurt Cobain, am bisexual.
And I feel like he wouldn't say, I am trans.
Right. So this episode is about topping.
Do you think Kurt Cobain was a top?
Great segue. Wow. Fuck.
'Cause...
Damn.
I think I think he's like what do you call it? Compet top, probably. Compulsory heterosexual.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I think Courtney Love could have pegged him.
Yeah, I see that.
feel like this is more disrespectful than musing on whether or not he's trans.
I think that's true because Courtney Love is still alive.
Welcome to episode 9, I think.
9.
Is that right?
I think so.
Episode 9 of Brain Frot. My name is Lavender.
I'm Lex.
And we're talking topping. And who better to discuss the action of topping than not one, but two serial huge bottoms. I know you're getting better. We'll talk about it. But this is very much musing on the culture and the practice of topping from the perspective of people whose experiences are far, far more prolific with bottoming.
We're bottoms who are forced to top, which is a common...
Service tops.
Yeah, a common theme in trans T for T relationships, I think.
Yeah, it's so one thing that we're going to try to do with this episode is distinctly separate the physical act of topping with the physical and mental act of doming. All too commonly, the two are sort of conflated in a way that all doms are tops, all subs are bottoms, and that's not really the case. A lot of that terminology, top, bottom in particular, comes from cis gay male culture, and it becomes less and less applicable the more people fuck with their bodies and their genders in the decades following. However, it is great shorthand, and it explains in just a few words, just 2 words, top and bottom, the very complicated machinations of penetrative sex that can exist between people.
I was going to say the dichotomy of sub and bottom and dom and top and how those are often equated with each other. I actually found that ContraPoints, I know she's like cringe or canceled or whatever, but I did find that ContraPoints put out a really good video on that recently where she like dissects the Twilight franchise, looking at it through like a lens of love and sex, and she gets into like how sub and bottom and femininity are all unnecessarily equated in like a heterosexual frame or lens. So I definitely recommend watching that video if you like actually want if you want someone to talk about that for 2 hours after we talk about it for 1 hour. But I think it's interesting that you included specifically the word penetrative in the terminology you were using, because I think that, at least from like T for T sex that I've observed, it is not so often penetrative. And then it's like, who is topping in that scenario?
That's kind of why I feel like in the trans world, the phrases topping and bottoming don't particularly mean as much as they do in the gay cis male world, where that's a much more obvious definition. Not to say that gay men are not experimenting sexually in ways that go beyond the simple dichotomy of top and bottom, but that's where that phraseology comes from originally. And you're right, there's a lot of impediments that trans people can face having T for T sex to being able to physically top in the first place. And you know what? We said this in another episode, but bitches are getting topped regardless. Bitches are getting topped on a regular basis despite all obstacles. And so I do think you're kind of hitting on something, that not every T for T sexual experience has a top and a bottom, nor a sub and a dom. I mean, it's not always that black and white.
It's kind of like I see this word on like Grindr and other similar apps of like side, and I feel like I can't even get into that because I don't know what that means. Have you ever heard of side as a position?
Is that like...
I think they just like jack off next to each other or something.
Interesting.
And to they I mean like straight gay guys is what I'm envisioning.
Straight gay guys. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Well, like, you know, like guys who think they're straight and say they're straight but go on Grindr to like do stuff with men.
Right.
But like it's straight because like they're not touching or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I would need to look up the definition of side, but I'm envisioning some sort of...
So you're just speculating completely right now on what that means?
Yeah, I haven't done the research.
Do you want me to look it up real quick?
Sure, because I mean, this isn't a thing for trans people, I think. I've never seen a trans person say they're a side position. I only see it with straight guys on Grindr or Sniffies or something, which I just
Why did you bring that up?
Because I was thinking of like frauding, and frauding to me...
Queer people who don't like to top or bottom proudly own their sexual identity. There have been many times in my life where I've considered myself a side, not to be confused with a side piece. A type beat.
Well, that's the thing, like, aside in, like, gay guy terminology is someone who is not topping or bottoming, and I was thinking of...
The idea that someone may not enjoy anal intercourse doesn't seem to be particularly difficult to understand, yet sides were only first acknowledged in April 2013 in an article titled Guys on the Side, Looking Beyond Gay Tops and Bottoms. All right, I'm starting to understand why you brought this up.
Yeah, because, like, take frauding, for example, I would say a common pastime among transsexuals.
Quite.
For some reason, I see it done a lot more than like the gay guy community. Frauding, where you touch, you fraud. It's in the name of the podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say, first of all, so popular, so ubiquitous that that's what this podcast is named after. I think the frauding thing, in my opinion, comes from, oh God, I'm going to regret saying this if we ever get really popular, but I think it comes from the, like, feminization of doll genitalia.
I was about to say that it's more reminiscent of scissoring.
Yeah. The hormones that make it difficult to get and stay hard. What I'll refer to as the softening and the feminizing of girl dicks, I mean, makes frauding not only, I think, more pleasurable for girls with dicks than for guys with dicks, but also more necessary to achieve pleasure through some kind of dick interaction as trans femmes. It makes total sense to me that frauding is more popular with trans femmes than men.
I guess that makes sense now that you say that, because, naturally the soft genitalia would rub up on each other much more easily.
Quite, yeah. It's quite smooth in my experience.
That's awesome. Because, sometimes someone with, a little T-dick will also...
You have a big T-dick.
Oh, thanks. Well, someone with a big T-dick will try and engage in frauding of just kind of just grinding.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's as satisfying as frauding is for you. But it's still nice.
It is nice, yeah. It's definitely, dolls out there should try frauding with T-boys more, in my opinion. But it does present physical challenges that don't necessarily exist when you're frauding with another girl.
There's just less for me to work with, less
surface area.
I was about to say surface area, yeah.
Our minds.
Plus, I don't know. I feel like it accidentally can easily turn into penetration anyway, because, the hole's right there. But I'm not complaining about that. Once I was hooking up with someone who shall not be named, and they, were trying to get a little more hard for penetration, and they're like, maybe let's just frot. And they're like, oh, just saying that word made me hornier.
Why do you think that's what this podcast is called? So, I not only identify, but take pride in the identity of being a bottom. I think it's funny. I think it's cute. I play into it. And it's not a bit and not a joke. If I lived in my utopia, I would never have to top again. Almost all of my sex would be penetrative sex where I'm the bottom. And I really enjoy it. It's what makes me... It feels like topping doesn't feel good. Bottoming feels amazing. So I feel not only overwhelmingly confident, but also just happy engaging with identifying and literally being a big fucking bottom.
Oh, so I know you can't take this survey because you're a binary trans woman, but every year there's this non-binary centric gender survey where NBs put in what words they use to describe their gender, and I feel like you just now could write in bottom.
Yeah, I mean, I'm other things, but I definitely, yeah, absolutely bottom. I mean, I'm, like you said, I'm a binary trans woman, but, yeah, I don't know, in a time where I meet a lot of people who say they're bottoms and are switches, I think, true to form, I feel like me identifying as a switch in this instance meaning that I could both top and bottom and enjoy doing both and do them regularly, I think that would be a lie. I don't think I could get away with identifying as a switch.
Yeah, so for me, I think to make yourself seem desirable in my mind, you would want to be a switch. That's what I would want to be, so that I could be versatile in any situation. But I think I would be lying too, because I also enjoy bottoming a lot. But recently I have been getting into topping in a servicey way.
Top era.
Where I think I enjoy the satisfaction of, pleasing someone who really loves being bottomed. And, fulfilling that role. And it also does make me feel more masculine when I do it. Like, I'm not really a dom, but there's a sort of dominating element to topping where, if you're literally like on top of someone, maybe you're pinning them down a little bit where they can't really move, then there's a little bit of dommy. I'm losing my train of thought.
No, you're right.
I'm getting horny now.
Much of the time, but not all the time, but most of the time, topping is in an inherently dominant position over bottoming.
Yeah, unless like the bottom is riding.
That's what I was going to say. So my experience topping is almost exclusively from a submissive position. I would say almost every time, 95% of the times that I've topped in my life, it has been because someone who is dominant over me wants to bottom and essentially is like fucking me, but it's me fucking them. Like,
so
just,
like they're riding
like,
you.
yeah, like I'm pinned down, sometimes like arms tied up or like handcuffed or something, and they're basically just like riding my shit like a sex toy. Because another thing, this is why God is so cruel and so sick, that among trans femmes, it is often the biggest tops, both in volume and in energy, who have the lowest capacity to stay hard and to maintain being hard. Because listen, trans women are having sex in ways that does not require anyone's dick to be hard for a second. But topping still mostly does, unless you're going to use some kind of strap-on. So if you're a trans femme trying to top with your own hardware, you need to be able to, get and maintain an erection. And for some reason, it's all the trans femme tops who want to top who have so much trouble with that, and it's all the trans femme bottoms who don't want to top rock fucking hard all the time. And that's me. I've never, I've been on hormones for years. They're working, as you could tell from many other things, but they have just never impacted my ability to get and stay hard that way. So I do kind of find myself topping from the bottom in that sense occasionally, just because I have that gift. And you know what? It doesn't feel good.
It doesn't?
I do not like the feeling of topping. It does not feel good. It kind of hurts, actually.
Damn.
Yeah. Like I'll do it. Like it's not like I'm any stranger to hurting for the pleasure of others. But that shit does not fucking feel good. Not only have I like never reached orgasm from topping someone, but like I would never even come like it doesn't feel good. Like it doesn't stimulate me in the right ways that I would ever achieve orgasm.
Like, do you get satisfaction from the other person's pleasure while topping, though?
I mean, only in the sense that, like, they continue to dom me.
Oh, yeah.
Like
You're not fucking a sub like that. Like,
not
like
really.
doming them.
Well, that's different. That's different.
Well, do you dom sometimes?
I can.
This is a separate episode.
Yeah, so we can have a full episode's worth of conversation on doming, but to keep it very short, I can dom within the very limited spectrum of things that I already like done to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have the creative faculties to dom or the experience to just step into an arena with anyone and have them tell me exactly what they like and me dom them. But if what they prefer as a sub is really similar to what I like as a sub, it's really easy for me to just put myself in their shoes and be like, what would be the perfect thing for a dom to do to me right now in this situation, and then just do it. And so occasionally I do dom, but it's really only performing my own fantasies in reverse.
That makes sense. Because, you
there's
know what you like.
exactly. It's like I know what I like and I can do it to someone else so long as they like similar things that I like. And it's fun. I do like doming occasionally within the specific circumstances that I'm able to. But I just can't really say I've ever enjoyed topping like that. It just doesn't feel good.
I can say from my perspective, when I'm topping with the strap, like, I'm getting wet and I'm getting hard. Like, the T-dick is becoming erect while I'm doing it. It's kind of awesome.
Hell yeah, that's badass.
Like, I don't know what, like, I think it is just seeing the other person in so much pleasure, but also, like I said, feeling so masculine in that position. And like, it's kind of, there's like also some indirect stimulation from using a strap. Like, it's kind of rubbing up on me, but not all the way. So it's kind of like teasing a little bit. And I feel like that like can get me even wetter sometimes than like direct stimulation can. Like, it's the anticipation of, or like the sensation of something just barely touching you but not like all the way is like how I feel wearing a strap on sometimes, like on my clit. So I would say it's awesome, basically.
I think you are rapidly approaching, at the bare minimum, you're probably already at the point where you can call yourself a bottom-leaning switch. You're probably sneaking up on full-on switch.
I don't think I'm there just yet, but I think now when I say I'm a verse bottom, it doesn't feel like I'm lying anymore.
How long have you owned a strap and a harness?
Oh, I mean, I've had one I had a different strap on that didn't really suit me. It was like one of those more actual straps. Like, it was like a pinkish magenta leather strap, like you strap yourself in. But like when I would try to put it on, like I'm too ape-brained to figure out how to strap myself in there. Like, it's a really aesthetically pleasing, regal-looking strap-on, but it doesn't get very much practical use, so I think I gave it away. I don't remember what I did with it. I think I gave it to you, actually.
Yeah, I think it's in the drawer right next to you with the
okay.
rest of my toys.
So if you ever need someone to use the strap on you, it's there for you, but I couldn't get that much use out of it just because when I'm in the moment, I don't want to spend like 10 minutes trying to strap myself in. So one of my T-boyfriends gave me a pro tip to get one of those harnesses that you just pull on like shorts. Mm-hmm. And those are like the athletic wear. So I got this pair of like briefs that you pull on, and like the ass part is just fishnet, so there's like some added stimulation of like, to be real, like my T-dick will be like bursting through the fishnet, and it's so that it like feels good.
I bet.
And yeah, it's really easy. You just pull the shorts on and put right now I have a really cute pink to purple gradient
that
dildo.
Thing is real cute.
I could use a bigger one though.
Agreed.
But that's the equipment I'm working with right now. And I would say beforehand, I don't really know why I had a strap on, because it wasn't like I was really using it. I think I got it for others to use on me mostly. But now that I found, my perfect pair of briefs, I really enjoy using them. So that's actually the type of advice I give people who ask me how I journal every day is you got to get the right journal. If you want to get good at strap-on sex, you have to get the right strap.
Yeah, that's like the 1 trillionth example of like porn setting unrealistic expectations, because in porn they do often have those really ornate harnesses, those very elaborate harnesses to holster a strap, but practically speaking, many of the interactions I've had with straps in real life have been much simpler, akin to what your briefs with a little strap hole in them.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ornate straps look good for like, maybe you're going to like a leather event. That could be cute.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm not there. There's a reason that they're the aesthetic and
Yeah.
fun, but they're not always the most practical, especially if you're, and I quote, ape-brained.
yeah, I mean, if I'm fucking someone, like, I can't think like that,
So you didn't use your old strap a whole ton. You got a new one that made strapping a lot easier for you. And is it something that you do regularly? Is it something that you... Okay, first of all, answer, like, what is the capacity through which your strap training has developed?
Well, I'd like to be using it more, but I use it usually... Honestly, I feel like I don't get to use it that often because, lately I have usually been with, like, trans femme people, but I know y'all need to prep beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
At least many of you. You seem to be an always ready bottom, which I'm sure we'll talk about in the bottom episode.
That's not exactly true, but...
You're probably the most ready bottom I know.
It's not even that. It's like, I know. When you've bottomed as many times as I have, there's a familiarity with the sensory elements that can tell you from the perspective of your own body whether or not you are ready to bottom. I quite often am, because I only eat once every 2 days, but I still...
What about those talkies, though?
It's exaggeration.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. Like, sometimes, you avoid eating spicy foods if you know you're going to bottom, just because it can make a situation worse sometimes, not to be TMI. But, even if that's the case, even if I am, like, eating regularly for some reason, you can tell. Like, once you've had enough experience... you can communicate with your body and know whether or not you're approaching an opportunity to bottom cleanly or otherwise.
Yeah.
If I know I'm not, I'll typically just try to angle it out of the way of me bottoming in the first place.
Whoa, you can do that?
What did you think that I meant by that?
Wait, can you repeat that? You can angle it?
I mean, angle the interaction that we're having away from me bottoming.
I see now. I thought this was like a skill you had honed, and I was very impressed.
I'm sweating from laughing at that. Fuck, that was funny.
But yeah, basically, like, understandably, a lot of trans femme people will be more hesitant to bottom, especially if they're newer at it. Even though they might really want to badly, like, it's something you gotta prepare for. I'm sure if I fucked more trans mask people, I would get more opportunity to use it.
2024?
Yeah.
Fuck more T-boys.
I'm trying to.
Dude, I know.
Was there a second part to that question? I forgot.
Is there... Because I very much have a vibe that tells me what I want in a sexual situation, and sometimes it's my opportunity to lead it in that direction.
Like, when does it come up?
Are you one to say, I can fuck you, or can I fuck you, to someone in a sexual situation? Like, or are you waiting for them to be like, do you top?
I think in the past, I would wait until they brought it up, which is probably why I was not topping that often, because when you're with someone like me, it's easier to just use my hole, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's ready. Um but I have found that when I started to offer it to people, they would be really enthusiastic about it, or like at least enthusiastic about doing it in the future if they haven't prepped for it. Like, you know, maybe I can give them a heads up next time.
Mm-hmm.
But I found that when I brought it up, it was a lot like, I don't know, it was received very positively that I would bring it up before waiting for them to bring it up, because it shows that it's something that I'm eager to do. And they don't have to ask for it. You know, like, I think people like when you kind of can read their mind about what they want in sex.
Yeah, definitely.
And, you know, I think you can tell when someone is a bottom or a top. And
sometimes through their physical behaviors, definitely.
yeah, or like how the sexual interaction is going, like who's leaning more top or bottom just naturally. But like I've found it quite sexy for me to offer to top first, and them being like, hell yeah. So I've been trying to bring it up more, because I mean, I've never had like a negative interaction. Like, it's always been really fun to do, even if I'm not doing that great at it, because there's a lot of physical stamina involved with topping too.
And it's difficult for people using the strap because you don't have the sensory feedback of how you're doing. I've definitely had people, and this is cute, and like I'm not saying this like to say that they're bad at using the strap or anything. It's because they literally can't feel it. But I've definitely had people like continue the motions as if they're fucking me when the strap has been out for a while already and they just can't release hell.
Yeah, I've definitely done that before, and I'm like, fuck, I'm doing so good.
They're loving this shit right now. That's why I don't I almost never offer to top someone, because I don't really want to, like I said, for all the same reasons. Like, it doesn't feel good. I don't really enjoy doing it. When I do it, it's almost always because someone who is doming me just happens to notice that, like, damn, that thing stay on hard. Can I get on that shit? And I'm like, normally I'm like, ugh, if you insist, if you must.
Yeah. What do you think is something you really enjoy for like a top to do to you, if that makes sense?
I mean, this is not gonna surprise anyone.
Like, give some good tips for tops.
Tips for tops. Okay. Okay, let's speak for broadly, get out of my like fucked up little snuff brain and just get broadly just tips for tops. Yeah, I mean, I guess pay attention to the feedback of the person you're topping is first and foremost. I mean, the sounds that someone is making are directly relevant to how they're feeling. And another important thing that I would say, especially if you're topping trans femmes, is to keep an idea of what they want out of a bottoming experience. I think there's a lot of trans femmes who will get too overstimulated too quickly because, and I'm telling you this because you don't know, having someone bash your fucking prostate repeatedly is one of the most overstimulating sensory experiences possible. It feels incredible, but it's very like, it's overwhelming. It's an intense sensation that comes very much with very rapid fire, like rushes of pleasure. It's a very precise sensation, sort of like it comes off like kind of like a sting or a pinch in the way that it is centralized in one location and sort of echoes out in waves, but it's pleasure instead of pain. Some people are more of the let's enjoy the sensual motion of this. Let's enjoy you touching me. Let's enjoy the feeling of you inside of me. Let's take it slow. Let's, angle the right way, sort of like up in the direction, like in the direction of the stomach that is not necessarily the most physically pleasuring thing, but it's a lot gentler. It's a lot easier. It's a lot more sensual. Versus other bottoms, which is like me, which is like, I'm not going to get overstimulated. Like, I'm here for pleasure. Bash the fuck out of my prostate. Like, I'm kind of here, like, to get railed. And not everyone is. And one thing that tops do is assume everyone wants to just get fucking piped. And it turns a lot of people off of bottoming experiences, because the thing with bottoming as a trans femme, anal sex fucking hurts sometimes. Like, it fucking hurts. Especially if you're new to it. There's kind of a learning curve. And so especially early on, like if you're topping someone who hasn't been topped that many times, and you're going in there with the mentality that you're going to fucking rail them, they're just not going to have fun. And like the situation will be over fast. So it's like anything in sex where communication is key, and, asking someone if it feels good, whatever you're doing, if they're enjoying it, and if you need to change anything is crucial. So yeah, those are two, good pieces of advice for tops, and that extrapolates into all kinds of other things. The sort of sensual, gentler elements of sex would say, what else do you like to be grabbed? Can I run my nails across you? Or can I wrap my arms around your legs if you're, in a certain position? Or like, can I run my nails down your back? Where, as a top, like one of the things that like tops struggle with is like where to, like find grip, where to find the like force and the momentum behind the physical action of topping. And just ask. Like, every bottom has their favorite place to be grabbed, to be held on. Like, just ask.
What's yours for future reference?
Probably my hair. Probably just, face down, ass up. Unless, if I'm handcuffed, you can grab my
face
hands.
Down, ass up. That's the way you left me.
Yeah, if you're behind me, and I mean, don't take again. I'm a get railed girl. I'm a very intense bottom, like a very like hurt me girl, and so that's why I like to put my hair up and let tops grab it and use that to sort of generate their momentum from. But that won't be the same for everyone. Some people, depending on the position, will say, grab my hips, grab my legs, grab my shoulders if they're tiny like you. There's a million different things, but at the end of the day, like almost with any sex advice, it gets back to being communicative and not being afraid to ask someone if what you're doing feels good and feels right for them, and asking them how you can improve the performance of whatever you're doing.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Do you have anything to add in terms of advice for tops?
I would say advice for like a trans mask person would be similar to what you said. Like, if you're entering a vagina, I think that starting slow definitely still applies, even though it's a self-lubricating vessel. I had this girl strap me like a little while ago, where like I know when you wear a strap you can't really like feel how it's going, but she was just like going in like like all the way deep, and I think that like the depth and pressure of that right away is also overwhelming, similar to what you said with the prostate. So I think starting slow, and always like listening to how your partner's doing and like ramping up accordingly is definitely good advice too. And I also know a good amount of trans guys who don't like penetration in the vagina and also would prefer anal sex too. So I think that is something to be really considerate of if you have a trans mask partner, is which holes they would want to be penetrated in. If they do at all, maybe they don't want to be penetrated at all and they would rather top. As always, it's a conversation to have with your partner about their preferences. Um, hmm. No, I think your advice pretty much applies to like every human.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, definitely. Like even just the non-specific body advice is just, and it's not even specific to topping. I mean, I know like everyone says this, but communication, key to safe sex, fun sex, just communicating clearly and throughout the experience.
Okay, well, Lav, tell me more about what you like in a top then.
I can do that. Um, yeah, it's kind of like everything else where well, I'm very, like I said, I'm very intense.
This episode is basically a guide on how to fuck Lav.
Should we call it that? We can't call an episode How to Fuck Lab.
Because everyone's going to listen to it.
You're so right. Okay. What I like from a top, I mean, intensity and stamina, because when you're hitting the right spot, you're gonna know. I am not quiet, by a long shot. So when you're really hitting it, you're gonna know, and the ability to maintain and persist through that is great for me in a top. Also just a sadist. Someone who is comfortable applying painful stimulation to other parts of the body, like for instance using my hair as or hands tied behind my back as like leverage, or any kind of spanking, clawing, scratching, like biting if I'm at my most flexible. It's good that, like I said, me as a bottom is maximal in terms of stimulation. So the best that I'm possibly going to feel is if Shoddy is just wailing on my shit and like, I don't know, like chewing on me or like slapping me around or something. None of this will surprise anyone who has ever had sex with me, who knows that I'm just the like impact play, like pin cushion punching bag bottom. But just in case someone listening didn't know, I guess that's what Lavender is seeking out in an ideal top. That doesn't mean that I don't have an appreciation for more sensual bottoming experiences. Like, I've been ran the fuck through enough times in my life that I can enjoy a time or two every once in a while of someone topping me that is gentler, more relaxed, more sensual, perhaps more intimate.
Yeah, I feel like now we're kind of just getting into bottoming.
Well, it's sort of what you want a top to do to you as a bottom.
Okay.
I still feel like it's kind of advice for tops, don't you?
Sure, yeah.
So to turn that question on you then, what is your ideal top like? Because you're very small in stature, if you don't mind me saying that.
That's right.
And I feel like that creates unique opportunities for tops to perform unto you, because a lot of people are just that much bigger than you. It kind of makes me jealous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite like pinnable and grabbable and like dominatable. Um, I like. I do like when sex feels really intimate. When the person is like really close to me physically, like their face is really close to me. I like position wise when I'm having like I do feel like a lot of the sex, the penetrative sex that I have, I don't know, it feels kind of like straight sex, but like it's not, it's different.
No, it is different.
But like I do like, you know, I like doggy style. That's just a really good angle. And I like being held down in a restrained way, but also like a like a kind of like a breeding position way.
We were working there throughout the entire episode. It was gonna arrive there eventually. I think that we're both submissive and breedable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're beating those allegations.
Yeah.
In fact, that might be a better name for this podcast.
For this episode?
No, just the whole podcast.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to episode 9 of Submissive and Breeding.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just love any penetrative sex or like topping type sex where I feel like I'm being like completely like dominated and bred. Sorry, I'm feeling bashful.
You're so shy. Aw. No, that's okay. Yeah, I get it. Not to get too personal, but I've topped you before. And I've tried to perform in that role because it's really easy to tell how much you enjoy. Especially the thing that stands out for me is like being pinned down. Like I feel like I've never seen you go crazier than when just like someone's like a hand on the back of your neck, or like push your head into a pillow, or like stuff your face into a pillow by your hair. That's kind of the like, to me, that's like number one on the like things to do while topping Lex list.
I mean, fuck it. I like the mating press.
I mean, fuck it. Do you want to do celebratory poppers to end the episode?
For the topping episode, we have to save the poppers for the bottom episode.
I just noticed them on my bedside table, and I kind of want to hit them. It's kind of all...
Okay, sure. We can do it for the bottom episode, too.
Cool. Do you want the Super Rush or the Amsterdam?
Which one do you think is better for this occasion of topping?
Well, I'm going to take one, and you can take the other. How about that?
Okay, I'll take the Rush, because
Okay.
I like Troye Sivan.
Shout out and that's on Troye Sivan. Try to open this with a microphone in my hand without spilling it. You want to?
Should we like clink them?
Do you
or-
want to shake?
Okay, sure. ASMR. And this is what I'm doing instead of being at the club tonight. I took a less audible hit.
Congratulations on another great episode of Brain Frot, Lex.
Thanks, Lav. You did great.
Aww. I love being affirmed.